One of the questions I get asked relatively often is, how do I know when it's time to hire a property manager? Somebody starts out with something small, but then it gets too big for them to handle. And honestly, most people ask that question way too late. They think the answer is some magic number. Maybe when I own 5 rentals, maybe when I own 10. After managing 100 rental properties, I've learned that the number of properties has almost nothing to do with it. I've seen investors with 1 rental who absolutely needed professional management. And I've seen investors with 10 rentals still trying to do everything themselves. So today I want to walk you through how I answer the question, because I think most investors are looking at it the wrong way. Here's the question I always ask instead. Is managing your properties preventing you from becoming the investor you want to be? Think about that for a second. Most people don't buy 1 rental because they only want 1. They buy 1 because they eventually want 5 or 10 or 20. The problem is that somewhere along the way, they stop investing because they're too busy managing. Instead of looking for the next deal, they're answering maintenance calls, collecting rent, scheduling contractors, handling late payments, talking to tenants. And before they know it, they're working in the business instead of building the business. One of the biggest signs you're ready for a property manager isn't actually stress, it's opportunity cost. If your evenings and weekends are spent managing properties, what aren't you doing then? You're probably not networking. You're probably not underwriting your next deal. You're probably not meeting with lenders. You're probably not finding your next investment. And if you're still working a full-time job, eventually your rentals start affecting the job that's paying for your investments. That's when something has to change. A great property manager doesn't just save you time, they help you keep growing. Another misconception I hear all the time is, well, all a property manager does is collect rent. And honestly, that's probably one of the smallest parts we do. We've taken over properties where rents haven't been raised in years. We've taken over multifamily buildings where the owner was paying every water bill because nobody had ever implemented a RUBS utility bill system. We've worked with owners who hated confrontation, so they never increased rent, though market rent had moved. We've helped owners improve cash flow simply by fixing those issues, and many times those improvements more than paid for the management fee. Not just collecting rent, improving the performance of the investment. That's what we're doing. So one thing I see quite a bit is owners who have self-managed for 20 or 30 years, and when they finally decide to hire a property manager, they look at the management fee and think, well, that's pretty expensive. But they're only looking at one side of the equation. They aren't calculating lost rents, vacancies, deferred maintenance, utility expenses they could be recovering, or the fact that they haven't bought another property in 3 years because they've been too busy managing the ones they already own. The goal isn't paying the smallest management fee. The goal is making the most money over the life of the investment. I'll give you a real example. We took over our apartment building from another management company. They weren't self-managing, but here's for the story. They already had professional management. The problem was they'd hired the cheapest company. Vacancies were high, maintenance had been deferred, the property wasn't attracting quality residents. And we sat down with the owner and told them the truth. This isn't gonna be fixed in 30 days. It's probably gonna take 9 to 12 months, and it's gonna require a lot of money, a lot of patience, and it's going to require doing things the right way. They trusted us, we renovated the units, improved the maintenance, raised the overall quality of the property, which overall raised the quality of the tenants, filled the vacancies, improved the residents' experience, and fast forward a year, the building is full, the property looks completely different, the residents take pride in living there, and most importantly, the owner was making substantially more money every single month than he was previously. That's what good property management should accomplish. Now, I'll probably lose business by saying this, but not everybody needs a property manager. If you own 1 or 2 rentals, enjoy managing them, you don't really plan on growing, that's perfectly fine. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you're serious about becoming a real estate investor, if your goal is financial freedom, if you're trying to build a portfolio, then eventually you need a team. No successful business owner does everything themselves. So if you're asking, how do I know if I should hire a property manager? Here's my answer. The day your rental properties start preventing you from growing, that's the day you should seriously consider hiring one. Because at some point, managing properties stops saving you money and starts costing you opportunities. If you're an investor in Kansas City area, or you're investing here from out of state and you're wondering whether now is the right time, I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. Even if I think you should keep self-managing, I'll tell you. But if I believe we can help you increase your returns, protect your investment, and free you up to keep growing your portfolio, I'll show you how. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment below. How many rental properties do you own, and are you still self-managing? I'd love to hear your experience, and I'll answer that as many as I can on the next video.